Michael froze as he opened the door. There, in the dim moonlight, a masked figure stood silently, watching. But what made his blood run cold wasn't just the intruder. It was the note clutched in his hand. I've been inside your life longer than you think. Every heartbeat screamed danger, and one thought consumed him. How do you fight someone who knows everything about you? If you love suspense and thriller stories, hit that subscribe button now. You don't want to miss what happens next. He didn't realize how long he had been standing in the dark until the cold began to bite through his clothes. The street lamps flickered overhead, casting broken patterns of light across the empty road as he watched Clara hurry away. Her footsteps echoed like accusations, fading into the night until there was nothing left but silence and the thudding beat of his own pulse. Michael turned and walked home, but every step felt heavier than the last. He replayed her words again and again, her anger, her fear, her disappointment, and each repetition cut deeper. By the time he reached the house, his hands were trembling, and he couldn't tell if it was from the cold or from everything collapsing inside him at once. He pushed the door open quietly. The house was dim, a single lamp glowing in the corner of the living room. His aunt sat there, stiff-backed, her eyes sharp even in the half-light. "You're late," she said without looking away from him. "I know," he replied. She examined him closely, her gaze narrowing. "You look like a ghost." "What happened?" "A lot," he muttered. "Too much." Her expression softened just a little, enough to show she wasn't as unaffected as she pretended to be. "Sit down." He obeyed. His legs felt unsteady anyway. "Start talking," she said. He rubbed his hands together, trying to find the words. "I messed up with Clara. Badly. I scared her without meaning to. And I think someone's watching me again." At that, her expression froze. "Again?" "Yes," he whispered. Same feeling. Same tension in the air. Like someone's just out of sight. His aunt leaned forward. "Michael, you told me it stopped years ago." "I thought it did," he said. "But tonight, something felt wrong." She looked away, exhaling slowly. "You should have told me sooner." "Would it have changed anything?" "Yes," she snapped, then caught herself. Her tone softened. "Maybe, maybe not. But you shouldn't carry things alone." He lifted his gaze, meeting hers. "I'm not sure I have a choice." His aunt stood and walked toward the kitchen. "You do. You always do. You just don't like the options." He didn't answer. She was right, and she knew it. Minutes later, she returned with 2 cups of tea. She set one in front of him and said quietly, "I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Did you see anything tonight? Or was it just a feeling?" "A feeling," he admitted, "but the same kind of feeling that saved me the last time." She didn't speak for a long moment. The silence between them stretched tight, filled with things neither of them wanted to revisit. Finally, she said, "Then you need to be careful. More careful than before." He swallowed hard. "I know. Start by fixing things with Clara," she added. His stomach twisted. "I don't know if she'll forgive me." "You won't know unless you try." He stared into the cup of tea. The steam rose gently, curling into the air like fading memories. I don't want to lose her." "Then fight for her," she said simply. The next morning, Michael woke with a sense of dread and determination intertwined so tightly that he couldn't separate them. He moved through his day mechanically, rehearsing words he wasn't sure he'd ever say right. The sun was high by the time he reached Clara's neighborhood, but the brightness did nothing to steady his nerves. He approached her house slowly, each step making his heart beat louder until it drowned out the sound of the world around him. He raised his hand to knock, but before he could, the door swung open. Clara stood there. Her eyes widened, and for a moment neither of them spoke. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice calm but guarded. "I needed to talk to you," he said. "Please." She hesitated, then stepped aside. 5 minutes. He entered, taking in the familiar scent of lavender and something sweet baking in the kitchen. The warmth contrasted sharply with the fear he carried inside. "Say what you came to say," she said. He took a breath. "I am sorry for the way I acted, for making you feel unsafe. I shouldn't have let my emotions get ahead of me." She crossed her arms. "You didn't just get emotional, Michael. You changed. Completely." "I know," he said, and I don't want that to happen again. What was that anyway? She asked. You went from calm to something else. He looked down. I was scared. Not of you. Not because of you. Just something triggered me. Something from my past. She studied him closely. And you couldn't tell me? I didn't know how. Silence stretched thin between them. He continued softly, but I want to tell you now. Everything. If you'll listen. Her expression shifted slightly. Not forgiveness. Not yet, but curiosity. Concern. I'm listening, she said. He sat down, and she sat across from him. His hands trembled as he spoke. When I was younger, someone followed me for months. I didn't know who or why. I told people, but no one believed me until it became dangerous. Really dangerous. Clara's eyes softened. Someone stalked you? Yes. And last night, I felt that same fear again, and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't want to drag you into it. You didn't drag me into anything, she whispered. You just scared me. I know, he said, and I'm sorry. She looked away for a moment, thinking deeply. So what now? What do you want me to do? I just need you to understand, he said. I want us to work through this, but only if you want that too. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she reached out and placed her hand lightly over his. I need time, but I'm not walking away. Relief washed over him so intensely he had to blink hard to steady himself. Thank you. Just keep talking to me, she said. Don't shut me out again. I won't. Before either of them could say more, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and her face drained of color. What is it? He asked. She turned the screen toward him. A message. An unknown number. Just 3 words. I see you. Michael's blood ran cold. Clara whispered, Michael, what is this? He stared at the screen, his jaw tightening. It's starting again. Michael felt the room shrink around him. The air thickened, heavy enough to choke on. Clara's hand trembled slightly as she lowered the phone, but she never looked away from him. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Tell me this isn't real. He swallowed hard. I wish I could. The message glared back at him for a screen. I see you. The same tone, the same coldness, the same suffocating dread that had haunted his childhood. Clara set the phone on the table slowly, like she was afraid it might explode. Michael, this isn't funny. Please tell me this is some kind of mistake. It's not, he said, forcing the words out. This is exactly how it started last time. Last time? You never told me someone texted you. He closed his eyes briefly. It didn't start with texts. It started with signs. Being watched. Then the messages came. Then, she grabbed his wrist. Then what? He hesitated. Michael, look at me. Then what? He met her eyes, and the truth broke through him like glass. Then he tried to take me. Clara's breath hitched. Dear God, a silence filled the room. Heavy, cold, and full of the fear neither of them wanted to voice. Clara stood abruptly and started pacing. No, this can't be happening. This is insane. Why would someone come back after all these years? Why now? I don't know, he said. But whoever it is, they know I'm not alone now. Meaning you're part of the picture too. She stopped. Her eyes widened in horror. So I'm in danger? Yes, he whispered. That single confirmation shattered something in her. She pressed a shaky hand to her forehead, breathing unevenly. Michael, I can't think. I need to sit. He grabbed a chair for her. She sank into it, covering her mouth with her hand. He knelt beside her. Clara, I promise I'll protect you. I won't let anything happen to you. You said that last night, she said quietly, and you scared me more than the message does. His heart cracked. I know, and I'm sorry. I lost control, but that won't happen again. Believe me. She stared at him for a long moment. If we're going to get through this, I need the truth. No more hiding things. No more bottling stuff up. Tell me everything. From the beginning. He took a deep breath and began. When I was 12, I started feeling watched. I walk home from school and feel eyes on me. I look behind me and see nothing. At first, I thought it was my imagination. Then notes started appearing. On my window, in my backpack, slipped under the door. Always short, always unsettling. What kind of notes? She asked. He hesitated. Things like, nice shirt, or you took 3 steps faster today. Stuff that proved he was close. Too close. Clara shuddered. Michael. My aunt took it seriously. She changed my school route. She locked the doors at all hours. We even filed a report, but nothing came of it. Whoever it was never slipped up. And then, she whispered, one night, I was walking home from a neighborhood store. I thought I heard footsteps behind me, but I didn't want to assume. When I turned the corner, someone grabbed my jacket from behind. Clara gasped. I panicked. I kicked. I screamed. A neighbor opened their door at the exact right moment, and the guy ran. I never saw his face clearly, just his height, his build, and the smell, like cigarettes and metal. And after that, the police finally took it seriously. But the man disappeared. No more notes. No more sightings. Nothing. Clara gripped the edge of her chair. And you think he's back? I know he's back. She shut her eyes tightly, trying to process everything. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady, but her hands weren't. We need help. I know. We need to tell someone. I know. Then why do you look like you're about to argue with me? Because last time I told people, he said they doubted me until it was nearly too late. I'm not giving anyone the chance to delay again. You think they won't believe us? No, he said slowly. I think whoever this is knows how to hide. Clara opened her eyes and stared at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. So what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we stay together. Always. At least until we know more. She looked startled. Stay together? As in you stay here. He nodded. Or you stay with me. But being alone isn't safe for either of us. She exhaled shakily. Okay, but only because I don't want to die. That's fair, he said softly. Suddenly her phone buzzed again. Both of them froze. She whispered, Don't tell me. He snatched the phone before she could touch it. One new message. A picture. His blood turned to ice. It was a photo of him and Clara, taken earlier that morning, outside her gate, from across the street. Clara covered her mouth. Oh my God. Oh my God. Michael, this is real. He stood, fighting the rising panic. We need to leave. Pack a bag. Now. She hesitated. Where do we go? My aunt's, he said. It's safer there. Are you sure? Yes. She'll know what to do. Clara jumped up and rushed in her room to throw things into a bag. Michael went to the living room window, pulling the curtain aside just enough to peer outside. The street was quiet. Too quiet. Cars passed occasionally, but no one lingered. No shadow stood beneath the trees. No figure hovered near the gate. But the emptiness felt wrong, like someone was out there, watching. He stepped back from the window, pulse racing. Clara reappeared with her backpack, face pale but determined. I'm ready, she said. Good. Stay behind me. They left the house quickly, locking the door behind them. Clara clung to his sleeve as they walked to the street, scanning every corner, every movement, every passing face. When they finally reached his aunt's place, he knocked rapidly. The door opened almost instantly. His aunt took one look at their faces and stepped aside. Come, tell me everything. Michael entered first, but Clara paused on the doorstep. A prickling sensation crawled up her spine. She turned. Across the street, partially hidden by a parked car, someone stood completely still, watching. She couldn't see a face, just a dark cap, a hood, a silent posture that radiated cold intent. Her voice trembled. Michael! He rushed back to the door. Clara lifted a shaky hand and pointed. But the figure was gone. Michael scanned the empty street. He was there. He was right there. Clara clung to his arm. What do we do now? His aunt locked the door behind them and said in a low voice, We prepare. Michael sat on the edge of his aunt's old couch, elbows on his knees, hands trembling despite how tightly he clasped them. Clara sat beside him, hugging herself, eyes darting around the room like she expected a shadow to slip through the walls at any second. His aunt locked every bolt on the front and back doors before returning to them. She placed a steaming cup of tea in front of Clara. Drink. Your hands are shaking. Clara stared at the cup, but didn't touch it. I don't think I can swallow anything right now. His aunt lowered herself into the chair across from them and rested her palms together. Start from the beginning. Slowly, Michael tried to steady his breathing, but the words came out taut, strained. He's back. His aunt's gaze hardened. Describe how you know. Clara lifted her phone with trembling fingers. He sent this. Michael's aunt leaned forward, squinting at the photo of Michael and Clara outside the gate. Her lips pressed into a thin line. When was this taken? Yesterday morning, Michael said. We didn't even see anyone around. Clara whispered, because he's careful and close. His aunt turned her attention toward Clara fully. And you, how are you feeling? I'm terrified, Clara said honestly. I don't know what he wants or why he's doing this. I don't know why he's after Michael or why he's now watching me too. Michael's aunt nodded slowly. He escalated, from silent watching to sending proof. That means he wants you to know he's here. That's exactly why we came, Michael said. I thought if anyone could guide us, it'd be you. His aunt took a long breath, her expression full of a sorrow that made Clara uneasy. Michael, there's something you don't know. He stiffened. What do you mean? You were too young back then. I didn't tell you everything. Clara leaned forward. Tell us now, please. His aunt sighed heavily and sank into the cushions. After that night, he grabbed you. There were more incidents. Michael froze. What incidents? I didn't want to traumatize you, so I handled them quietly. But you deserve to know now. What incidents? He repeated, voice loud, cracks of panic in it. She spoke carefully. 2 nights after the attack, someone broke into the house while you and I slept. Clara's eyes widened. What? Michael's heart thudded painfully. But nothing was stolen. He wasn't there to steal, she said quietly. He entered your room. Clara gasped and covered her mouth. Michael stared at her in disbelief. That never happened. You slept through most of it, she said gently. I woke up when I heard a floorboard creak. When I went to your room, your window was open and your shoes were missing. He blinked. My shoes? Yes. He took your shoes. Both pairs. Clara looked confused. Why shoes? His aunt's expression darkened. Stalkers sometimes collect personal items. They take things that touch your skin, things that hold your scent. Clara shivered violently. Michael felt sick. Why didn't you tell me? You were a child. You were already terrified. I didn't want to destroy what was left of your peace. Clara placed a hand on Michael's arm. I'm so sorry. Michael's aunt continued. And a week after that, I found footprints outside your window. Bara footprints. He stood there long enough to leave an imprint in the dirt. Clara recoiled. Bare feet. Michael clenched his fists so hard his nails dug into his palms. This is too much. His aunt leaned forward. It gets worse. Michael stood abruptly, pacing the room, trying to breathe past the dizziness. Clara called out, Michael, wait. He spun around. Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't the police take this seriously? His aunt rose slowly. They said we lacked enough proof. And I may have made a mistake. His breath caught. What mistake? Her eyes lowered. I told them we weren't sure the man who grabbed you was the same person leaving the notes. I didn't want them to think we were panicking. Clara pressed her palm to her forehead. But it was the same man. Yes, she whispered. And because I hesitated, they hesitated. Michael stared at her, feeling a mix of sadness, anger, and fear swirling violently together. So he slipped away. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I thought I was protecting you. Clara spoke up, voice quiet but firm. We're here now. We can't change what happened then, but we can stop whatever this is. Michael's aunt nodded. We need to gather every detail you've seen recently. Michael rubbed his face. It started with small things. At first, I thought I was imagining it. You know how memories can haunt you. No, Clara whispered. This wasn't imagination. Michael continued. 2 weeks ago, I felt someone watching me while I walked home. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Slow. Matking mine. I turned around and saw no one. Clara swallowed. I had that same feeling the first night I came to your place. Michael looked at her sharply. Why didn't you tell me that? Because you were already dealing with enough, she said softly. His aunt nodded. And the message, did it say anything else? Michael pulled out his phone and opened the message. The first one just said, I see you. The second was the picture. Clara added, but before we left my house, someone was standing across the street. His aunt inhaled sharply. Describe him. I couldn't see his face, Clara said. He wore a dark hood. He stood completely still. Michael clenched his jaw. He was there. I felt it. And he vanished the second I looked back. His aunt straightened. You two cannot be alone. Not at any moment. If he's making himself visible now, it means he's confident. Clara shuddered. Confident about what? That he can get close without being caught, his aunt said. A heavy silence followed. Then a faint creak echoed from somewhere deeper inside the house. Clara flinched hard. What was that? Michael gestured for silence. His aunt lifted a finger to her lips. They listened. Another creak. Then another. Slow. Purposeful. Coming from the hallway. Michael whispered, Auntie's anyone else home? No, she whispered back. Clara's breath trembled. Please tell me you have a dog. Or a cat. Or anything that walks. His aunt shook her head. Michael moved toward the hall quietly, each step measured, every muscle on high alert. Clara grabbed his sleeve. Don't go alone. He squeezed her hand. Stay behind me. His aunt followed, clutching the small wooden cross she kept by the door. They approached the hall. The lights there flickered slightly, humming with an old electrical buzz. The creaking stopped. Michael whispered, Who's there? Silence. The air grew colder. Clara whispered, Michael, look. On the floor, near the end of the hallway, lay something small. A folded piece of paper. Michael froze. Clara grabbed his arm. How did that get there? His aunt whispered a prayer under her breath. He was inside. Michael moved forward slowly, every instinct screaming not to touch it, but knowing he had to. He crouched, picked up the note with trembling fingers, and unfolded it. 3 words were scrawled in messy handwriting. Missed. You. Boy. Clara clutched his arm so tightly her nails dug into him. Michael, he was here. Inside this house. Michael's pulse pounded in his ears. But beneath the fear, something else ignited. Anger. He crushed the note in his hand. Not again. Michael stood frozen, the crumpled note sweating in his fist. Clara clung to his arm like it was the only thing keeping her upright. His aunt looked like she was fighting the urge to collapse. Ow! Clara whispered. How did he get in without us hearing anything? His aunt swallowed. There's a back window in the laundry room that sticks. If someone pushed hard enough. Michael didn't let her finish. He stormed down the hallway, flicking on every switch, checking behind doors, pushing open closets, his breathing sharp and erratic. Clara followed close behind, voice unsteady. Michael, please slow down. I can't, he snapped without meaning to. He was here, right here, while we were talking. His aunt stood at the hallway entrance, gripping the wall for balance. He didn't take anything. He left something. That means he wanted you to find it. Clara shivered. He wanted to prove he can reach you. Anywhere. Michael's chest tightened. He pushed open the laundry room door. The window wasn't just forced, it was cracked at the latch. Here, he whispered. He came through here. Clara touched her forehead. Oh, God. Michael stared at the window, jaw clenched. We need the police. His aunt sighed. We do. But they may not take 2 silent entries and a note seriously. Not unless. A loud thud came from outside. Clara screamed and jumped backward. Michael stepped in front of her instinctively, pulse surging. His aunt gasped. The backyard. They moved cautiously toward the back door. Michael peered through the glass. Nothing. Clara whispered. Please don't go out there. He opened the door anyway, heart hammering. The night air hit him like a slap. Cold. Still. Too still. He stepped onto the porch. Then he saw it. A small object sitting on the wooden railing. Clara whispered behind him, What is that? Michael approached slowly. A shoe. His shoe. The same model he wore years ago, small enough to belong to a child. Worn down. Weathered. Untouched for ages. Clara's hand flew to her mouth. Is that? His aunt whispered shakily. One of the pairs he took. Michael reached toward it, fingers trembling. But before he touched it, motion caught his eye. Something flickered at the far end of the fence. A shadow. Someone's there, he breathed. Clara grabbed his arm. Get inside, Michael, please. But he didn't move. The shadow shifted. A tall figure stepped halfway into the moonlight. A hood. A mask. A silhouette too familiar. Michael's breath hitched painfully. No, he whispered. The figure lifted a hand. Not waving, not threatening. Just lifting. Slow. Purposeful. Clara's voice cracked. Is he signaling? Michael swallowed. He's saying he knows I see him. His aunt's voice trembled behind them. "Michael, get inside. Now." Michael stepped back, pulling Clara with him, but he didn't break eye contact. The figure didn't chase, didn't move, just watched. Watched like he had all the time in the world. Michael shut the door and locked it, chest rising rapidly. His aunt double-checked the bolt twice. Clara slumped onto the couch, trembling uncontrollably. "This is too much. I can't handle this." Michael knelt in front of her. "Hey, look at me." She lifted her tear-filled eyes. "I won't let anything happen to you," he said, voice firm despite the tremor in it. "But he's everywhere," she whispered. "He's always one step ahead. He's always watching. How do we stop someone like that?" Michael hesitated, not because he didn't know the answer, but because he didn't want to say it. His aunt said it for him. "You track him, quietly, before he gets bold enough to do more than watch." Clara looked horrified. "You want us to go after him?" His aunt shook her head slowly. "No, you gather proof. Real proof. Enough that the police have no choice but to step in. Enough that he can't hide anymore." Michael exhaled shakily. "I've been thinking the same thing." Clara stared at them both, voice barely audible. "Are you sure that's wise? You're talking about provoking him." Michael stood, pacing the room again. "He's already provoked. He started this. And I'm not running anymore." His aunt pulled out an old wooden box from beneath the TV stand. "Then you'll need these." Michael raised a brow. "What is that?" She opened it. "Cameras. Old but functional. Small recording devices. Motion sensors. Things from the time when she had to protect a frightened boy years ago." Clara placed a hand over her heart. "You held on to these all this time." "I never stopped being ready," his aunt said, "because I knew someday he'd come back." Michael examined one of the cameras. "These still work?" "Perfectly," she said. "I tested them last year." Clara swallowed. "So what's the plan?" Michael inhaled deeply. "We start tonight." His aunt looked startled. "Tonight?" "He's here," Michael said. "He's watching. That means we can use that." Clara shook her head rapidly. "Michael, this is insane. We're not investigators." "We don't need to be," Michael replied softly. "We just need to make him reveal himself." His aunt nodded approvingly. "Fear won't protect you. Strategy will." Clara looked between them helplessly. "And if he escalates?" "He already did," Michael said. "But this time I'm ready." His aunt placed a gentle hand on Clara's shoulder. "You're not alone. We'll do this together." From the living room window, a faint tapping sound echoed. Clara flinched violently. "What was that?" Michael rushed to the window. A tiny pebble sat on the sill. Clara whispered, "Why does he keep doing that? Taunting us." Michael clenched his jaw. "Because he thinks I'm still that scared boy." Clara grabbed his hand. "What if he breaks in again?" His fingers tightened around hers. "He won't get the chance." His aunt placed another camera on the table. "Set these near the windows, and one outside the back door." Clara nodded nervously. "What about the hallway?" "That's where the note was." Michael swallowed. "We cover that too." They spent the next half hour placing cameras around the house, each movement tense, hands shaking. Every sound felt amplified. The creak of the floor, the hum of the old fridge, the faint rustle of wind outside. Clara whispered as they set a camera near the hallway. "Why is he doing this? What does he want?" Michael paused. "I think it's more than obsession." She turned to him. "Then what?" He exhaled, voice low. "Control." Clara's breath hitched. "He wants to control you?" Michael nodded. "He always did." She stepped closer. "Then you need to take that control back." He stared at her, surprised by her courage. Then a soft, buzzing sound echoed from his pocket. His phone. A new message. Clara froze. "No, not now." Michael opened it. A photo. Taken only seconds ago. A picture of him and Clara placing the camera in the hallway. Clara gasped, stumbling backward. "No, he's inside. He's inside the walls, Michael." His aunt whispered shakily. "Not the walls, the windows." Michael zoomed into the photo. There, faintly reflected in the window's glass behind them. A face. A mask. Watching. Michael's blood turned ice. He whispered one word. "Enough." Michael's jaw tightened as he stared at the masked face reflected in the camera photo. Every nerve in his body screamed at him to act, but he knew rushing would be a mistake. This was a predator who thrived on fear, on panic. He needed strategy. Clara's hand trembled in his. What do we do? He's here, watching, waiting. We finish what we started, Michael said quietly. We make him reveal himself. His voice was calm, but every word carried the weight of the promise. No more running. His aunt, her face pale but resolute, said, You've got the advantage now. Cameras everywhere. You know he's there. You control the space. Michael nodded. We bait him. Clara's eyes widened. Bait him? How? He whispered. We make it look like we're asleep, like we're vulnerable. Then when he moves, he'll be on camera. He'll make a mistake. Her stomach twisted, fear and excitement mixing. And if he tries to hurt us? Michael lifted her chin gently. Then we're ready. The police will come the first sign. We're not alone. They dimmed the lights, leaving the cameras rolling. Michael and Clara huddled on the couch under a blanket, hearts hammering. Every shadow, every sound made them flinch. The wind rattled the windows. A branch scraped against the siding. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked. And then, nothing. Silence, heavy and pregnant. Hours seemed to stretch into an eternity. Michael's mind raced, replaying every past encounter, every note, every small sign. He felt a thrill, a surge of adrenaline, because he finally understood. The stalker thought he controlled the game. But tonight, Michael would take control. At exactly 2:17 a.m., a faint creak came from the laundry room window. Michael stiffened, barely breathing. Clara's fingers dug into his arm. The creak became a shuffle, soft, deliberate. He motioned to Clara to stay still. They didn't move. A shadow appeared in the corner of the living room. He was careful, but not careful enough. The first step across the floorboard echoed too loudly in the tense silence. Michael's pulse was deafening in his ears. He could see it now, his nemesis, moving slowly, confident he was undetected. Michael whispered to Clara, Watch him. Remember everything. The figure reached toward a window. Michael's heart raced. This was the moment. He pressed the record button on his phone, simultaneously triggering the camera alerts. The lights flickered, then brightened, suddenly revealing the intruder in stark clarity. The masked face froze, unprepared for the sudden illumination. He turned, panic flashing in his eyes for the first time. Michael's aunt yelled from the kitchen. Police are on their way. Step away. The intruder bolted toward the back door, but the cameras had already captured every angle. He slipped outside into the yard, but Michael wasn't finished. He grabbed a flashlight, shone it directly at the figure, and yelled, Show yourself. You are done hiding. The masked intruder paused, cursed under his breath, and bolted into the night. Police sirens wailed in the distance. He knew he had no escape. The tension snapped as the authorities swarmed the area, forcing him into a corner. Within minutes, officers secured the perimeter and apprehended him. Relief crashed over Michael like a wave, but it was tempered by the exhaustion and fear that clung to his chest. Clara sank into Michael's arms, trembling. It's over, right? Michael kissed her forehead, holding her close. For now, but we stay vigilant. Always. His aunt approached, placing her hands on both of their shoulders. You face your fear, Michael. You didn't run. You controlled the situation. That's victory. Michael exhaled, finally allowing himself to feel the weight of it. And Clara, thank you for trusting me, for staying. Clara smiled faintly, her eyes still glistening. I had no choice. I couldn't leave you. Not now. Michael chuckled softly, a sound of relief and triumph. Good, because this is just the beginning. We rebuild from here. The next days were a whirlwind. The police confirmed the intruder's identity, someone Michael had vaguely recognized from old surveillance from years ago. He had disappeared for decades, only now to reemerge, obsessed with fear and control. The evidence captured by Michael and Clara ensured charges would stick. The stalker would never harm them again. Michael returned to his apartment with Clara, locking the door behind them. He exhaled, finally able to breathe without tension knotting his chest. Clara looked around, her voice soft. Do you ever feel safe now? He smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Safe isn't the word I'd use. Prepared. Alert. but not frozen in fear. That's enough. Clara rested her head against his shoulder. And me? You're my anchor, he said, and my partner in this fight. They both laughed softly, a release of the tension that had been coiled for weeks. Michael's aunt called from the other room, teasing, "You two better not get too comfortable. You still have lessons to learn about vigilance." Michael smiled. "We're ready now, all of us." Weeks passed, and life slowly returned to a sense of normalcy. Michael and Clara installed permanent surveillance, upgraded security systems, and began rebuilding their lives together with an awareness that they were stronger together. The ordeal left scars, but those scars were a testament to resilience and survival. Michael had learned that fear could be confronted, that strategy and intelligence could overcome terror, and that love, when tested, became stronger. One night, Michael looked at Clara, her face illuminated by the soft glow of the living room lamp. "You know," he said, "this could have broken us." Clara shook her head, "But it didn't. It made us stronger." He reached for his phone and snapped a photo of her, smiling. "We survived, and we'll always remember this. Always." She laughed, placing her hand over his. "Just maybe never like this again." Michael nodded, smiling at her words. Then he looked directly at the camera of his phone, as if speaking to the audience, his voice quiet but confident. "Remember, everyone watching, trust your instincts. Never ignore danger, and always stand up for what matters. Stay alert, stay smart, and most importantly, don't ever face fear alone." Clara laughed softly. "And for those watching at home, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You never know when life might throw you into a story like ours." Michael smiled at her, a wink to the camera, before turning back to the quiet of the apartment. Together, they had survived the impossible. Together, they had reclaimed control. And for the first time in years, Michael finally slept through the night. Michael survived. Clara survived. But what would you do in a situation like this? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories every week.